tutorial, I'll be walking you through how you can install a white-labeled Tuco custom app inside of your GoHighLevel. Now, before we get started, I want you to understand the difference between a default conversation provider and a custom conversation provider. So why don't we go through that? So when you have your workflows inside of GoHighLevel, you can basically do one of two things. One, you can have it as a default custom provider when you don't have a default A2P approval from something like Telnex. So let's say you want to send a normal SMS using GoHighLevel's own SMS, and then you want an iMessage to go out only for people using Tuco. You could basically use this. The other thing you should know about is you can install Tuco as the default provider, and typically most companies do this because they have some sort of integration for automatically responding to these leads inside of GoHighLevel using something like closespot.com, and these things don't work really well with the custom conversation provider. So for most of you guys, it's probably going to be the custom conversation provider and a normal SMS that is going out through the A2P verified GoHighLevel account. For some of you, you would need, Tuco set up as the default. Anyway, this tutorial is going to be for the custom conversation provider. It's not going to be for the default conversation provider. It's for using Tuco as the custom conversation provider. So why don't we get into that? First of all, you want to head on to app.tuco.ai. You want to switch into your specific workspace if you have multiple workspaces. One thing you should know if you're installing this as a marketing agency is that you gotta install it one by one. We're trying to work on a way where you can install it on all workspaces at once. Before now, you gotta install it in each workspace. Once you're inside app.tuco.ai, you want to head on to the left-hand side of your screen and click on integrations. As soon as you come into integrations, you're going to be seeing several tabs like API keys, CRM. You want to click on CRM. Once you do that, you're going to see something called lead connector. That's the default white label name of GoHighLevel. So the lead connector is just GoHighLevel. Click on the blue button. All right, so this is the exact difference I was talking about of, do you want to install it as a custom conversation provider alongside your SMS provider that's A2P approved, or do you want to have Tuco as the default? This tutorial is going to be for custom, and for most people you just want to use this, but in case you're doing a white labeled install, you want to do Tuco support is going to give you an installation URL that's going to be white labeled. You can copy paste that. For most people, it's just going to be this. I'm going to click on continue, and you're going to click on integration API key. So how do you get your GoHighLevel API key? Go inside app.gohighlevel.com. That's app.gohighlevel.com. On the left-hand side, you want to switch into the workspace that you want to install it to. Unfortunately, you have to do it one by one. All right, so now I've logged into the custom conversation sub-account that I want to go into. I'm going to click on settings with the cogwheel, and then I'm going to click on private integrations. So why do we need a private integration? Well, this lets us pull leads into Tuco, and then whenever you're typing stuff out of Tuco or using the Telegram integration, it's going to sync back into GoHighLevel. So you want to create a new private integration. In my case, it seems like this isn't showing up. So you got to just Control, Shift, and R, which is like a hard refresh, or sometimes you have to log out and log back in. I still can't see it. I'm not sure why they do it. In case you can't see it, you want to click on Inspect Element and then click on this rectangle with an arrow and try to locate. Right now I'm just trying to locate the button that for whatever reason GoHighLevel just won't show it properly sometimes. Is this hidden? Alright, I'm gonna click for this. Yeah, I don't know why they hide it. For most of you, you're just gonna see a big button, but do you see display none? You wanna unhide that button. This is just like a GoHighLevel thing. It has nothing to do with Tuco. So I'm just clicking on backspace to remove this. Now I see the button. Great. GoHighLevel is just fun. I want to give it a name, so I'm going to give Tuco. Click on next. I'm just going to click on all scopes. Click on create. Again, this has nothing to do with Tuco. It's just you know what? I'm just gonna rotate an older key just for the sake of installation. All right, now I'm gonna go back into integrations, location ID. You can go back into business profile. Alright, sorry I had to pause, but you gotta go with the settings, click on business profile. Once you do that, you're gonna see the location ID, click on the copy icon, come back into Tuco, paste that, click on next. And then now we're just checking whether or not we have all the permissions for the API key that you just created. And click on check scopes. Wait, click on connect. It's gonna connect that. It's gonna give you a Tuco API key. You gotta copy that. And then you gotta click on this button. You can't click on finish. Click on install and lead connector. Alright, in this case, they're gonna see a white labeled custom app. In your case, because you just chose the first drop down, you're gonna see Tuco. Click on install. Gotta log in. Hold on, let me log in. Alright, so it just gave me a one-time password on my email. I'm done with that. I'm gonna click on install again, click on proceed to install, and then right now please pay attention. You can install it at one sub account at one time. Please make sure of that. Click on continue, scroll down, click on allow and install. Alright, now it's going to ask you for the API key. If you remember in the previous step, you gave us the API key, so I'm just going to paste that. Alright, if the API key is correct, it's going to say successfully connected. And now I'm just going to restart or reload my page. And if you go into that specific sub-location and click on App Marketplace on the left hand side and click on Installed Apps on the navigation, you should be able to see Tuco or your white labeled app. Perfect. So now I'm gonna automate sending the messages. Go into automation, click on create workflow. I'm gonna start from scratch. I'm gonna name this something like send iMessage. Tuco, Whitelabel, something like that. The trigger, this could be a Facebook form fill, or it could be a contact card, doesn't really matter. The thing that matters is basically how you send that specific message. As soon as a contact comes in, I want to know whether or not they have an iMessage, because keep in mind there's a custom conversation provider where a lead comes in, they have iMessage, that's going to go through Tuco. If they don't have iMessage, it's going to go through the default SMS provider. So I'm just going to search for the white labeled name this time. If it's something else, you can do that. Keep in mind, this 1 cent that you're paying us is not really coming to us. It's just a fee that GoHighLevel charges you. You can kind of like get creative with this by using the webhook action, but it's like $9 a month. So I'd rather use this because it's just way easier. So I'm gonna search for Momentum here, or you have to type in your white label location app name, or you can just type Tuco. I'm gonna type Momentum, and then I'm gonna click on check iMessage. I want to check if the lead has iMessage, and then you gotta give the phone contact raw. That's totally fine. Click on save action, and now I'm gonna branch it. So if a guy has iMessage, I'm gonna send him an iMessage. If not, I'm gonna send him a normal SMS, and then I'm gonna search for actions, and then I see if else. I'm gonna click that. I'm gonna create a new branch. You're gonna see a drop down that says select, and then click on Momentum, check iMessage available. Again, like Momentum is one of our white labeled apps. Yours might say Tuco or your app's name. Click on save action. All right, great. So if available is true, basically these leads have iMessage. If available is false, you want to send them a normal SMS. Keep in mind, if you have one phone line inside of Tuco, which is this person has one phone line here, this thing can check up to 70 numbers a day. Past that, it's gonna say false for that specific day. And you want to click on branch. I want to send them a Momentum iMessage, so I'm going to switch this into apps. Search for Momentum or Tuco or whatever it is. Check send iMessage. Now let's go through these one by one. The action name is going to be send iMessage. The contact ID is going to be the same that you choose here. And then you want to give the message, right? So it's like, hi, contact. So you can reference certain variables. I just want to reference their name, so I'm going to do that. And then I want you to pay attention to both of these things. If you have multiple phone lines inside of Tuco, this person just has one phone line. Let's say you have multiple phone lines. You want to give that ID here. So it's, the use case is something like, I have multiple sales reps, or else it's just going to round robin. So here, I'm just going to leave this blank, but in case you need to fill this, you got to go to app.tuco.ai/lines, and then you got to copy the line ID here. Do you see that little clipboard thing? It's going to start with something like a number or a name. It's going to be pretty long. You got to give that here. And then skip if replied. I want you to pay attention to this. Skip if replied simply means you're sending someone the first text, and then you wait for a period of time, and then you send them a second text, right? What if they reply to the first text, then you don't want to send them the second text? In that case, if you want to skip that particular message, you want to give skip if replied as true. Sorry. But in this case, it's the first ever message, so I don't want to fill that in. And again, like I have only one phone in this workspace, so I'm going to leave that empty. And now I'm going to click on save action, maybe add a space here. And cool, so now I want to wait. Probably, this is I'm using the default wait. I'm not using the Tuco wait for app, wait for reply. I want to wait for, let's say 1 minute. and then now I want to send them a voice over text. Now you gotta understand the limitations of iMessage. When you send someone a link and before they have responded to you, they're not going to be able to click on it. So I would recommend a plain text, waiting for 6 hours, having skip if reply to, and then sending them a voice note, and then waiting for 1 day, sending them, a specific text, and that's it. Like if you keep, bothering these people, they're gonna mark you as spam. If you send them a link before they respond, it's gonna be a problem. So I'm gonna send them a voice note. So I'm gonna search for momentum, you would search for Tuco, and send voice note. You cannot send the first step as a voice note. Keep in mind, first text has to be plain text, no links, no attachments, nothing. But in the follow-up, you can basically include a voice note. Now, how do I get a voice note? It's pretty simple. Just go to online voice recorder. People use Wookaroo. So you basically record your stuff here. You're going to be able to download that specific MP3 file. Once you have that downloaded, go into app.tuco.ai. On the left-hand side, click on leads and click on upload audio. So I'm going to click on choose file, and I'm going to search for this audio. All right. It's going to upload that and give us a URL. You want to check whether or not this URL is valid. So how do you do that? You copy that, you open incognito, and display it. All right, perfect. It's a 2-minute voice note. We don't recommend doing something over 5 MB or 30 seconds, but you can do it up to 5 megabytes. You want to go back into the workflow, paste that in. Now pay attention to this, like skip if reply true. That means that the first text, if I responded to that, this would automatically be skipped. But in this case, I still want to receive it. And then if you want them to appear like native voice memos on Apple, you got to leave the voice note as true. And sending line is the same as I gave earlier. You could copy it from here, paste it. If you have multiple phone lines, if you just have one line, you can leave it empty. Why don't we go ahead and fill that out? Click on save, and then I want to wait again for maybe a minute, maybe 30 seconds, and then I can, again do send iMessage stuff, and then I'm just gonna skip a reply true for this one, and then I'm gonna click on save. Perfect. So why don't we publish this, save this, and try it with a sample contact. So I have this sample contact here. I'm gonna click on run test. So the beautiful thing about Tuco is anything you do with the custom conversation provider, it's gonna automatically go into conversations here. You just have to click on all, and message should start flowing in. Let's see. I'm gonna click on all. All right, so as you can see here, it has come in like all 3 messages that we sent to this guy. I'm gonna try responding back, like just to show you the other side. This is what has come in, and let me reply sure. And you need to have refreshing. It has to show up here in a couple of seconds. And here. All right, there we go. So I can try texting something back, and that should show up here pretty soon. All right, perfect. So in case you need to debug any of this, what you can do is basically inside of your workflow on the top, there's like builder, which is the view I've kind of shown you. And then you can also click on execution logs, and then you can see which path it kind of went through. So it sent the first message, realized my message had an iMessage, and then waited, sent me a voice note, which you can see here, and then it sent the last message, which was this, and then all of them are synced right here. So yeah, I think that's what you need to know in terms of like setting up your custom workflow using Tuco. All of this is also like synced two-way between Tuco and GoHighLevel. So you ideally can just like chat back with them here, and you must be able to see your app name if it's white labeled. That's it.